Today we have brought our 2024 Toyota Land Cruiser to the American Southwest, where we are going to tackle the Chloride Canyon Trail, right now on Driving Sports TV. This episode is brought to you by Onyx Off-Road. Save 20% off your new membership with the code DSTV. Scan this code or click the link in the description to learn more. Good morning from New Mexico, here in the American Southwest. This is, of course, our 2024 Toyota Land Cruiser First Edition, otherwise known globally as the Land Cruiser Prado. Let's take a look at what we're getting ourselves into. And we are going to use Onyx Off-Road through a lot of the course today, simply because this is actually the tool that I've been using for years. Like literally, this is how I plan and navigate, especially when going into off-grid areas, which we are definitely going to be in today. Right now we have 1 bar of LTE, but that's going to disappear as soon as I go around the next corner, I'm sure of it. The trail we're going to take today is called Chloride Canyon. In Onyx here, we can take a look and see that it's an easy trail, but it is rated a 4 out of 10, so there might be some little challenging sections along the way. Onyx says it's going to take us 8 hours to get through the whole thing. I hope I can do it quicker because I got a lot of filming to do and that just eats up time. And the total distance here is 157.7 miles. The low point is 4,735 and the high point is almost 10,000 feet. Luckily with Onyx, we can also look at trail reports here, and I can see that just a couple weeks ago, somebody named Aaron Brown went through here, and they reported that it was cleared for at least the half of the course that they drove, and I see there was actually some snow here a couple weeks ago. I don't expect any snow today. I think it's going to be actually pretty easy going. I hope. Now, for anybody considering doing this run, there's no major towns on this side of the trail. I did take the opportunity to add more fuel, top off the Land Cruiser here. And it's a good thing that I was just topping off because they don't have premium fuel. And yes, you can actually run a Land Cruiser on regular fuel, but you lose power and efficiency. Yeah, ideally, you always want to put premium in this thing. It's showing that I have about 258 miles of range. As you might know, when you're doing off-roading, and especially going up and down steep grades, you can go through a lot of gas. So hopefully that's not a problem today. I got my maps loaded up. I've already downloaded all the maps that I'm going to need today in medium resolution, which should be sufficient. That's going to give me my elevations. Plus, I've also done this purple line in the app to make sure that I stay on the right course. I don't get distracted. Right. Let's do this. So it seems this trail is starting out as a paved shelf road, which isn't too bad. It's kind of, get your bearings, get sorted, make sure everything is good. I do have a lot of liquids with me and snacks because there's nothing out here. I even, of course, have the cool box here, which is keeping a couple beverages cool. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on my mileage the whole time and also very much my range because the Land Cruiser does not have a very big fuel tank. It's just over 17 gallons. And the economy, especially with these heavy 10-ply E-loads, it's not great. And when you're going off-road, you're going to stress that system a little bit more. Now, we do have the benefit of having that electric motor, which kind of, improves economy over what it could be. But the way Toyota looked at this vehicle, they're like, oh, it has a hybrid. Oh, it gets X miles to the gallon. Let's put a smaller fuel tank in it so the fuel doesn't weigh as much. I kind of wish we had the improved economy over the old V8 plus a larger fuel tank, or at least the old same size fuel tank, so that, I wouldn't be constantly worrying and calculating my mileage. It's almost like having an electric car in a way, because 250 miles, that gets a little sketchy when you're doing these long off-road trips. Now, in the rest of the world, there is a 2.8 liter diesel available, and I think there's also a diesel hybrid. Those are not available here in the US. And I note that specifically even in Australia, it has a larger fuel tank with those diesel motors. So you get really great range way out yonder. Now I could always stick a jerry can on the roof because, hey, my first edition came with a roof rack, but haven't done that. And I think we'll be fine today. So that's pretty much it as far as economy, although I will tell you what the car's calculated economy is at the end of this trip. But it is a perfect day. It's 46 degrees. It looks like it's warmer out than it really is because, of course, we're in the desert. And finally, are we now on gravel? I think we are now on gravel. Also, I have not aired down. I'm somewhere in like the mid 40s for these tires right now. Oh, washboard. Hopefully we won't have too much of that today. If washboard continues, I will air down to smooth that out. But let's just see how it does on this section. I see we have a little bit of unpaved section going on here. Kind of like old pavement falling apart that they've re-graveled. Oh, I did read online in one of the forums that now we're back to pavement, that this route was regraded, I believe it was last year. So it might actually be pretty smooth. And, I would look forward to that. Sometimes you don't need to have a life or death struggle just to have fun, right? Sometimes you just want to see stuff and enjoy stuff. Could be cool. So this route does have historical relevance. This is the way into the mountains for several silver mines that were here in the 1800s. Now, unfortunately, for the people that were out here prospecting, the silver market basically collapsed when the US picked the gold standard instead of the silver standard. And then we were on the gold standard forever, but we're not on gold standard anymore. But that basically caused an entire collapse of the silver market. So it just no longer became profitable to prospect out here. Oh, we're a little vibraty. I am expecting this to turn more into trail and less into rolly road here fairly soon, hopefully. This is, of course, one of the downsides of having a solid axle. Solid axle, let me stop because there's a cliff there. So a solid axle, the whole rear assembly wheel and wheel move like this. Now that improves articulation, it's great for that. But the problem is when this wheel hits a bump, it also moves this wheel. So your whole back half kind of skitters around. Now, vehicles like the Land Rover, they have independent suspension on all four corners. So if this one gets interrupted, this one don't care. It doesn't affect it at all. So it's better both for pavement as well as for these kind of, washboardy situations. But solid axle, simple. It's also better for articulation. So far, the washboard hasn't been too bad. It's only been intermittent, although it's really annoying. So all things considered, also because I'm gonna need it later, I'm gonna go ahead and pull off and air down the tires just a little bit, just to take the edge off. Okay, let's air down. So I'm gonna go ahead and move my digital display to a screen that I've laid out that has my tire pressures on the left. Currently I'm about 45. Let's go ahead and air them down probably to around 25. So there are lots of ways to air down. Obviously, just use your finger, use a pen, use a key. I use different devices depending on what I'm doing because, hey, overlanding, it's all about buying cool toys, right? When I'm in the snow, I have 4 pins that I put on the tires and just airs them all down very quickly. This one, I want a little bit more controlled. I'm not really airing them down that much. So I'm gonna use one of these bad boys. So the cool thing about this is that it'll actually go in and pull the pin out, which will air them down very quickly. Plus, of course, I have a meter, a gauge, so I can see just how much pressure I've dropped. That looks good. Okay, so I think I'm actually just gonna do 30. I'll start there because it's easier to drop more later than it is to add. Let's move on to the next ones. I will put a link for this tool down below, but this isn't an endorsement. I have a bunch of these and they're all different brands and they all work fine. Okay, last one. And we're all set to go. Got up quickly. I forgot, I'm at altitude here. Whew. Whew. Let's go. Yep, looks basically like it's 30 all around. A couple 29s. I think we'll be fine. Whew. What is the altitude here, man? I'm feeling it. Now we're at 7,500 feet. Yeah, that explains it. I mean, I live at sea level, literally. So, whew, not used to this. I mean, this is twice as high as our mountain pass in Washington, our main mountain pass, Snoqualmie. Actually, more than twice as high, because that's only 3,000 feet. Wow. Actually, it does take the edge off. Yes, everything's going to be rattling all over the place, but yeah, I can just feel it in those potholes. Definitely much better. Okay. Hopefully this road ends and it turns into a legit trail pretty soon, because that's really what I'm here for. And on the topic of altitude, the best way to deliver additional oxygen to your body is through water. So make sure to hydrate if you find yourself at altitude. And you want to hydrate before you feel bad. I learned that filming Pikes Peak for several years. And that's at like, what, 14, 15,000 feet? Whew, twice as high as where I am right now. Yikes. Although I am going to go up to almost 10,000 feet today. So that'll be interesting. Yeah. Man, that is so much better. Jeez. Should have done that sooner. Every single time I think that too. This is not new. Okay, let's sit back and fast forward this to where I actually find something interesting. Up. Missed my turn. Need to pay better attention to the map. Okay, here we are. Oh, this looks like fun. It's kind of nice. A little cloudy today. A little sunny, a little cloudy. Some trees hanging over the trail there. Now, what do I have for emergency equipment with me? Of course, have a pair of 2 Max Tracks up on the roof. I also have a shovel, smallish one, but it fits up there. I also have a tow strap if I need to tow something off the course, or if I find somebody who needs a tow, which doesn't seem very likely today. I haven't seen anybody out here yet. What else do I have? Oh yeah, machete. That should cover most of it. Because this surface has now gone to strictly gravel, I'm going to go ahead and lock my center torsion diff. Normally it'll vary power front to back with a bias to the rear, about 60-40. Once I hit this button right here, it locks it, so it's a 50-50 split. Basically makes it identical to a part-time system when you move that transfer case into 4 high or 4 low. Of course, I do have a low range on this as well. Clearly don't need that right now. This might also be one of those off-road environments where you don't really need to disconnect your sway bar yet, because I'm still, going around corners and stuff. Of course, even if I did disconnect the sway bar, it reconnects, I believe, at around 20, 25 miles per hour or something like that. So it would have already reconnected anyway. So we're going to go ahead and wait to disable that for the point where the trail actually turns into a really tight and technical trail. Looks like somebody had to pull a tree out of the way. Thank you for whomever came through before me. So I think these guys are going to be my nemesis today. Pine trees growing over the trail. So I'm going to go ahead and change the orientation there. The reason why I missed that last turn is I was still north pointed, and my brain didn't translate which way I was supposed to go. So now I'm going to orient it the direction that I'm going so I can see left and right a lot clearer. Also popping it into 3D mode so I can see more of the trail ahead of me. Ooh, we're climbing. Yeah. Now it's a proper trail. And these rocks look sharp. This is why I will drive 2,000 miles to get here on 10-ply tires. Tires that do not do any favors to my economy. We'll have another video about that. But here I have no concerns, or very little concern, about punctures. Now, for those of you curious, yes, I am actually out here solo. I don't have a film crew. I am actually filming this all by myself, which I really enjoy doing these because I'm kind of just here on my own, doing my own pace, my own thoughts. Well, okay, I'm not on my own, because you're here too, right? How you doing? This is cool. I like this. It does kind of remind me of Eastern Washington a little bit. Up in Washington State, the state is basically split into thirds. On the left third, the western part, it's wet, and you got evergreens and all that stuff. In the middle third, you have arid but farmable. And on the right 2/3, you have high desert, believe it or not. So yeah, it kind of feels, kind of same vibe. Pine trees, pointy rocks, the whole thing. Oh, did you hear a beep? That was actually my trail cam, because this did come with a trail cam. Oh, look, it's a rock. We'll climb here. The Land Cruiser here does have about 8.7 inches of ground clearance standard. Because we have moved up to slightly larger tires, I did gain probably another inch. So I'm looking at about 9 or so inches, which should be sufficient for today. Fingers crossed. There should also be no actual technical rock climbing. I didn't really want that on the test trail today because I still have thousands of miles to drive home. And with rock climbing, that's when you break stuff. Speaking of that, there's a pretty big rock right there. See if we ding anything. Thank goodness this has rock sliders. Now we're good. Since I think we're going to be more slow going here, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the front stabilizer bar, which should smooth out things in the front a little more. Just kicked in. Oh, camera. Front view. Oh, there's the rock. Why do I go slow? Because I want to hear for grinding. It'll turn, if you go slow enough, you might end up with just oopsies instead of, oh my! On we go. This route is part of the New Mexico Backcountry Discovery Route, which is a collection of off-road trails that the BDR guys put together it's really designed for motorcycle adventuring, but you can use them in cars too. But it allows you to cross an entire state with minimal paved roads. It's very cool. I've done sections of the Washington State BDR quite a few times in the show. This is my first time on any part of the New Mexico one. The Land Cruiser does come standard with underbody protection, but the standard plate is aluminum and not very large. This first edition came with the larger optional plate. Now you can option that at the time of purchase. Obviously dealers will put it on, oh look, snow, if you want to pay them money to do it. But that gives me a little bit more confidence in trails like this that I'm, if I do run out of clearance, it's not going to end up with, critical damage out here on the trail. First little peekaboo view, nice. Let's keep a steady pace. For those of you curious, I'm doing about 8-9 miles per hour. No reason to lock that rear diff, because this is not that challenging. But it is bumpy. Very, very bumpy. Okay, this one looks like it's going to be a little longer, a little more climby, so let's go ahead and switch into 4 low. Mostly I want to get my trail camera up and, just try something a little different here. Wow, that's a view. This is climb on up. So the benefit of 4 low, obviously, is it does let me move a lot slower. It improves my crawl ratio, which gives me more control over the throttle. But, little bump there. It also multiplies torque, so it actually makes the truck more powerful, which is neat. Woohoo! It just keeps on going. Okay, it's a lot of rocks. Oh, here we go, clearing. Oh, that's cool. Oh, this is amazing. Got a little low hanger here. Let's go around it. So this is rougher than it may look from that drone shot. My line careful over these rocks. Ooh, yeah. I will throw a few of the dash cam shots into this video too. It's not the best quality, but for what its intended use is, it's fine. Although would it kill them to spend $5 more on the sensor? Put a decent one in there, right? I think this is a great location for lunch. Right, well, we don't have a lot of time here, so I'm just going to enjoy the view for about 20 seconds, eat a couple things, and we'll be on our way. That's pretty. Yes, that was about a 2-minute lunch. It looks like there was a fire that came through here probably a few years ago. And not much has grown back yet. Actually, nothing I think has grown back. This is probably only a couple years old. Fires suck, but they did provide an excellent view. Wow, spectacular. We are approaching 10,000 feet, by the way. Since I'm approaching 10,000 feet here, it's a good time to point out that with the old Land Cruiser, it had a V8 that was naturally aspirated. At altitude, it lost significant power. Whereas this one, because it's a turbo with a hybrid, the turbo compensates for the altitude and the hybrid straight power. Hopefully it's not all like this, or we're going to be here till midnight. Yay! I think we're going to go up to the top of the ridge. That'd be cool. But yeah, if you had snow up here, this would be super dicey. Okay, and then here we are crossing a cattle guard, heading back into the forest, it looks like, on the other side. Whatever mountain this is. Corner Mountain. Okay. And the road has finally smoothed out a little bit. So I can pick up the pace and make some better time here. Woo! Finally. And I'm on the wrong road. So this is a bypass. Okay. So in consideration of time, I need to make an executive decision here. Looking at OnX off-road maps, which I downloaded, this is a shortcut, a smooth shortcut to the other side of this trail, which is going to wrap around a hillside there. Because I've only gone so far 33 miles on a 158-mile trip, I think we're going to take the shortcut. And hope it actually is a shortcut. According to the maps, it is. Oh yeah, nice to be on some smooth stuff after all those rocks. You might have noticed I haven't done any special features with this vehicle. It has all this stuff, but so far all I've done is lock the center diff and disconnect the sway bar, which frankly I didn't really need to do, but it's just one of those things. You don't know how hard it's going to be, so best to be prepared. Today's adventure is a great example of escalation. How many features do you actually need on the Land Cruiser you're optioning? Because obviously if you get a 1958, which is the base trim, it doesn't have the disconnectable sway bar. Does it even have MTS? I don't think it does. So in consideration of that, look at this adventure and be like, is this the kind of stuff I'm gonna do? Ryan didn't need any of those features. Maybe I don't need those features either. In a way, my approach to this adventure is to think of this like a 1958. with the disconnectable sway bar, which is a nicety. It's not a necessity. But I have the nicety, so I'm going to use it. Okay, that's a road. That is like an honest to goodness paved road up there. And I'm going to get on it. Cool. No, not paved, but very smooth. And has a stop sign. So weird seeing a stop sign out here. Floor it to the acceptable legal speed limit. If you own something like a Hyundai Tucson or something like that, you're looking at this adventure going, wow, I could probably do that with the Tucson, because you're watching me do these rocky trails and all that kind of stuff for, moments at a time. However, keep in mind, I'm doing this for like 8 to 15 hours today. That's when you want a body on frame, because the frame soaks up a lot of the impacts, and it makes a vehicle like this just last longer in these kind of conditions. Let's see. Where are we going? We're going left. Okay. Road surfacing ends 4 miles ahead. Okie dokie. And I think that's when it's going to get good. Because we're going down into kind of more the lowlands area here, I'm expecting that we'll start doing these water crossings. Oh, there's a river crossing and the river is completely dry. Oh well. But we are now at river level, which is cool. I have to keep reminding myself I'm in New Mexico. This feels like Colorado. And I know Colorado is just right up there, but I'm not at the top of New Mexico. This is right in the middle of it. And I got to admit, New Mexico, I've done you wrong. I thought you were more sandy desert, not like mountains and pine trees. That's on me. So how many miles in are we now? We've gone 44.6 miles. Cool. Because this is a first edition, it does have both heated and cooled seats, which are very nice. This morning started off very cold, so had the heat on. Now I'm going to cooled seats. It's got a little something for everything here. Am I going off the course? I'm going off the course, I think. Yep. This is not a road. I mean, it is a road, but it's not the road. Busy monologuing, not enough busy mapping. There it is. I mean, it hardly looks like a road, to be fair. I think we're going to get into 4 low territory again, so let's go ahead and turn that on, put it into neutral. So I think we're going to go slow here. I'm going to disconnect that front sway bar again, and away we go. Oof. Okay. I mean, we've got lots of boulders, but nothing too challenging yet. I mean, I say that, there's a little articulation happening here, but it's not like we're lifting wheels. Actually, I don't even think I need to be in 4 low. Neutral or high. So much for that. You just never know. You will probably notice that there is a lot of tall, dry grass. The fire hazard is actually extremely high today, so I'm being very careful not to park the Land Cruiser on top of any dry grass. There shouldn't be anything exposed underneath that would start a fire, but it's always just, it's good practice, and it doesn't hurt to be a little bit more careful. If you're watching saying, I could take my Camry up there, nothing's stopping you. But if you do it, please post a photo or video and send me the link. We're doing on fuel. We have 3/4 of a tank still. That's good. What's our MPG? According to the built-in computer, about 10.8 miles to the gallon. Yeah. I am glad that Toyota went with a very easy to use steering wheel. The steering is super light in the Land Cruiser, which is good. If you're doing this all day, that's kind of what you want. Ugh. Don't like that I have gloss mirrors. Ah, there we go. Wheedle our way through. Okay. I did bring a machete, but I don't want to get out every 5 minutes. We got to get through this. I mentioned I really, really like this Land Cruiser. I really like it. I ordered it before I had even driven one. Fingers crossed, that it wouldn't suck. And you can say what you want about it not being a 300 or not being this or not being that, but the fact is that this vehicle as it is excellent. Okay, I'm supposed to do, that's a shortcut if I go straight. Oof. Still have to hit the canyon. Haven't gotten into the canyon yet. It's crazy. It was a long trek. I guess looking at it's 2:30, I guess that makes sense. Open back up into a prairie, and this actually looks like it might be, is this part of the river? Is this a river crossing if it were wet? Oh yeah, I think it might be. And we're joining another road from the other side. You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of Africa. Really? Like, I would not be shocked if an elephant came right over that hill. Just wouldn't. It's so cool. In New Mexico. Again, that's on me. I should have known better. You don't know a state until you've driven across it. So these ridges are pretty deep. Gotta be careful not to scrape. But so far, no big deal. Oh, that's a big hole. Wow. Okay, note, big holes, caution. This place gets really rutted. Oh, hello. I guess this is legit river crossing right here. If there was a river right now, which there isn't. Although with those rain clouds over there, we might start to see something. Then climb back out. Yeah, just 4 high. No reason to do anything special right now. I mean, if it was all that, yeah, I'd switch into 4 low, but we got a lot of fast sections in between these really bumpy ones. Yikes. I hate these things. I should probably be wearing gloves while doing that. Oh, thank goodness I didn't have to disassemble the tree. That would have taken all day with the tools I have. So at this point, we are following the riverbed, and it's interesting, weaving in and out of trees. There are some large rocks that I got to look out for, and some very deep dips. So keep an eye on those. A couple of the dips have actually been concerning in terms of approach angle. If you had, a normal crossover, something like a Subaru or a Volkswagen, those have a lot more stuff in front of the wheels. This Land Cruiser has an approach angle of about 32 degrees. This is a fun section, but you got to keep your wits about you, because sometimes these little dips that are along the river or creek, they'll get you. Another dip. Now it looks like we're going to climb into the forest. Cool. Can't see over the hood. Put camera on. So it's currently 3:20 p.m. Sunset is about, I think, 6-ish. So we got 3 hours. Not even 3 hours. Basically, I have 2 hours to get to the lookout. See how far we are on this. We are definitely way more than halfway through. So the next major feature is Chloride Canyon, and then we're off to Lookout Mountain, which is the finale. Cool. There is going to be a main crossroad that would give an alternative exit if we needed it, but I'm pressing on all the way today. And now we're jumped onto Road 59, which is a lot smoother than what I've been on for the last hour, 2 hours, for a very long time. It's currently 3:50, so the sun is starting to get a little low, and we still have a long ways to go. But if the road is more like this for the rest of it, then that should be pretty easy. Guessing it's not. Putting blinker on, there's nobody here. I have not seen a single person all day. Like, just not one. I would have thought to see at least maybe, what? Okay, I guess we're on pavement now. We're doing this. Funny. Turn off that center lock. Huh. Did not expect that. And back into the dirt, I think. Oh, nope, there it is. There it is. Should be more careful about that. Right, looks a little sandier here now. And the center locker engaged. Let's do it. This is very different than that first half. Yeah, the suspension tuning on this is actually quite good. They did a really great job of walking that fine line between making it too soft for road and too stiff for off-road. Got a little bit of climbing here. Oh, this is nice. It's fun. A little tilty. We got this. A little cross wheel action. So for this section, I am going to go ahead and disconnect that front sway bar. I'm also going to switch into 4 low so I can just walk up it. Even though the base 1958 Land Cruiser doesn't come with the MTS system, it does have basic A-Track, which is effectively the older version of MTS. You just can't fine-tune it. It engages the moment you switch into 4 low. What am I going to do here? Let's go ahead and do MTS. And let's just do MTS. Let's do rock so I have minimal wheel spin. Actually, heck, let's just do auto. And I'm not even going to bother engaging my rear locker. And let's see how it does here. Little traction control kicking in. But yeah, just walks right up. Nice. See? Super easy. I'm just going to keep it on this setting for right now while we continue to walk up this, because I don't know what's coming up. Can I switch gears in low? I can. 3rd gear. I won't do 4th. We'll do third and second. Oh, cool. Third gear in low. Looks like we're on another ridge road. The characteristic of this road is very different than what we were driving on earlier today. This one's a little sandier and the rocks are smaller, which is nice. And also, no pines. These are some other tree. I don't know what they are. It's really funny. Ooh. So we're back in 4 high because the technical sections were short, and I'm moving on with my life. Let's fast forward this section to something interesting. And here we are, something finally looking like a proper canyon. Okay. Wow. Yeah, this is definitely an old lake bed. Cool. All these trees are so cool. Look at these boys. Ah. This would be a cool place to camp. Definitely. Oh, we're back to the rocks, but this is a cool section. I do like this. So obviously you can do this route either way. It doesn't matter. It's a two-way route. The way I took it, I kind of like, but I need to head into Texas. So basically I did this so that I'm ending up kind of where I need to be, or at least closer to it. If I was doing this for fun and maybe camping out here or spending extra time, I'd probably flip it and come in off the main highway and then head out to, what's that town? Resolve, Remote, Redo, Reprieve. Okay, it's gonna be a rumble. Who's gonna move? Anybody gonna move? Don't want to scare you guys. Just slowly move. Oh, we got some, we also have some mule deer or elk. I don't know what they are. I'm not a hunter, so. So there is a creek down here that really does exist. It's just really mushy. The cows seem to enjoy it though. And that's all that really matters. I think they really appreciate the looks of this Land Cruiser. Could feel it. I think we're going to call it a day. We did not make it all the way up to the lookout. The sun is getting very low. Things are starting to get dark. I just have enough time to kind of wrap this video up. Maybe we'll try that again on another adventure. But I will say this Land Cruiser is amazing. Now I love the fact that, of course, I have the first edition, has all the amenities, but to get through a course like this with comfort, you don't need all of the goodies. I did use the skid plate, so that is a good thing to have. But this wasn't much of a rock crawl session, so rock sliders, probably didn't really need them. Seat coolers, didn't need them, but I did enjoy them. Now let's talk about fuel economy on this thing. What have we done? According to the computer, we've been averaging 10.6 miles to the gallon. I have so far driven about 91.8 miles on this whole adventure. And according to the fuel gauge, we have about a half a tank still. So that's good. Off-roading, getting 10 miles to the gallon, I am very happy with that. This is not hyper-mile commuting. This is a different thing altogether. So what do you think? Did you enjoy this video? Post a comment below. Also be sure to like and subscribe. I need your subscriptions. We are very close to 400,000. And I need your views and your subscriptions because ultimately I need to pay for fixing all the scratches on this thing that I put on it today. Oops. Anyway, we'll be fine. It'll be fine. For Driving Sports TV, I'm Ryan Douthit. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again right here real soon. Oh, look. Pavement. Huh. Who knew? Woo. Oh, we're back on 59. Nice.